Good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, June 27th, 2018. I'd like to call this evening's City Council meeting to order. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Bob?
Here.
Councilmember Schimmel?
Here.
Councilmember Williams?
Present.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Here.
Councilmember Servants?
Here.
Mayor Thornton?
Here. Thank you. Yes, two of our city council members this evening are attending the AWC conference in Yakima, so they're going to be calling in this evening. So I really appreciate that they're doing that. So this evening, I have the honor to give the oath of office to the Center's newest police officer, Officer Alec Langlois. And Officer Langlois has always wanted to be a police officer, following in his father's footsteps. His father is a veteran police officer with the Longview Police Department, and Alec has two siblings, a brother and a sister. In 2017, Officer Langlois attended the Washington State Basic Law Enforcement Academy, where he graduated the same year. Officer Langlois is in the National Guard, where he holds the rank of sergeant. So I'd like everybody to join me in welcoming Officer Langlois to the City of La Center. And with that, I will issue the oath of office. We do it by the flag, I think?
Yeah, let me get out of the way. I'm just an obstacle.
I went ahead and turned this off. I don't know if you want to just go from memory, or I personally prefer to read them, but whatever you want. Okay? So if you could just please raise your right hand. I, Alex Langlois,
I, Alec Langlois,
do solemnly swear that I am a citizen of the United States and the state of Washington,
do solemnly swear that I am a citizen of the United States, State of Washington,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
that I will abide by the law enforcement code of ethics,
I will abide by the law enforcement code of ethics,
and will, to the best of my judgment,
and will to the best of my judgment,
skill, and ability,
skill, and ability,
truly, faithfully,
truly and faithfully,
diligently, and impartially
diligently, and impartially,
perform the duties of the office of the police officer
perform the duties of the police officer
in and for the City of La Center,
in and for the City of the Center,
County of Clark,
County of Clark,
State of Washington,
State of Washington,
as such duties prescribed by law.
as such duties prescribed by law.
Congratulations. And this evening, we also have Sergeant Scott here, Officer Falco, and Officer Martinez. So thank you all for being here. Marvis, I'm sorry. It's okay. Good? Congratulations. Great job. Best of luck, man. Right over here. Okay, next on the agenda is the consent agenda. If there are no requests for any items to be removed, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Let's see, council and staff reports are next. I just have a few announcements that I want to share with everybody this evening. First of all, next Wednesday is the 4th of July. The city offices will be closed because next Wednesday is the 4th of July, and I have my town hall meetings on the first Wednesday of every month. I will be moving that to Thursday, July 5th, so we'll have it the day after the 4th of July. So I'll be anxious to hear about everybody's excitement for hearing the fireworks all for the next several days. And then also, this Saturday, June 30th, will be the first concert in the park, the 2018 City of the Centers concert series. So I'll look forward to seeing a lot of people there as well. First one will be Harvest Gold, a tribute to Neil Young. So that'll be this Saturday, starting at 6 p.m. And finally, I just want to mention that the Our Days Committee is in full swing, getting prepared for Our Days. It will be this year, Saturday, July 28th. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting couple days for the City of the Center, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. So that's all I have this evening. Mr. Kern, do you have any report?
I do a little bit. The land use appeal I've reported on most meetings recently hasn't changed. It's set for our brief is due the end of July. I thought I might as well provide an update on the land use appeal that we have in Superior Court on Riverside Estates. I and the attorney for the developer, who is Steve Hornstein, and the attorney for Mr. Nutbrock and his neighbors, who is Jamie Housley, have met several times, and we've talked about and come up with a revision to the access. If you recall what the access configuration was like on Riverside Estates, it's kind of complicated, multiple access points with another development across the road, Highland Terrace. So we've also pulled in Highland Terrace developer, since the reconfiguration will affect them. And we think we have a design that we can all live with. Our city engineer said appears on the surface fine with him, requiring only that the Riverside Estates applicant, that developer, get his transportation engineer to review and basically bless the configuration. That, I think, will do it. His traffic engineer, I think, has already contacted Public Works, and so he's digging in. That tells me that he's been paid up to current and has been engaged to do this additional piece of work. So that's all a very good sign. And if he blesses this configuration, it would result in a modification to the final phase of Riverside Estates. So he'll have to come back, Kevin Rose? What's his name? Engelstad will have to come back and seek a revision of the plat, the preliminary plat approval for Phase 5 to deal with that, because what the gist is to leave basically all the access points open to varying degrees while revising the plat layout to limit the traffic flow out of Riverside Estates that's going to use Larson Drive. So it can stay open as long as not that many people use it, is the basic gist. So that hopefully will come before you. We haven't even had the initial scheduling hearing in Superior Court on this thing, because we have been basically kicking it forward a week or two at a time with the judge as we get closer and closer to this resolution. So that's where things are, and that's the game plan. I don't really know when this will come back to the city for a revision of the plat. It shouldn't actually come to you. It would go to the hearings examiner first, but I'm not really sure that at this point how such a remand would be handled. I think it wouldn't really be a remand. It would instead be just to initiate a revision. So that's where things are. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Okay. Stand by. That's evolving over the course of the summer. Well, I've tried to keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. So I think our next date for this scheduling hearing with the Superior Court judge is like 9th of July, something like that. I don't know that we'll actually meet that day because we'll make progress before then. So,
Very good. Thank you.
that's it for that.
Okay, any questions for Dan? Okay, next is council member comments. Council member Balf.
Good evening. I have to say that the reception here is not the best, so I'll wait for the next council meeting for my updates.
Very good. Councilmember Stimmel?
Thank you, Mayor, no comments tonight.
Okay. Councilmember Williams?
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
No comment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. No comments here either.
Okay. Very good. Next on the agenda are staff reports. There was one staff report included with the council member packets. It's the finance department staff report. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review that. If you have any questions on that, you can always reach out to me. What I will do next in July, the second meeting in July, I will ask Paul Lewis to come to the council and give us an update on the second quarter financials. So we'll have that scheduled for next month. But as you all know, if you ever need to talk with Paul, he's always available, or you can contact me. Any questions on the finance report? Okay. Next on the agenda is citizens' public comment. If any citizen would like to address the council, please step up to the podium. If you give us your name and address, and if you limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Candy Irish, 1653 East Heritage Loop, almost forgot, in La Center. I just want to say that before the Our Days celebration, and part of the Our Days celebration is the citywide garage sale. And so on Saturday, the 14th of July, we should have, right now, we're at about 70 garage sellers, and they're all up on the hill. Most of them are all up on the hill. So there should be a lot of increased traffic in our city, which is good because people tend to stay around, have lunch, and do whatever. So anyway, there's 70 so far, and we've got the rest of this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Irish, 1653 East Heritage Loop, La Center, Washington. Mayor, council, and citizens of La Center. All I want to bring forward is the fact that on the 4th of July is our Independence Day. We may have people that have pro and con as far as thoughts about the use of fireworks, etc. But one thing they shouldn't have is any lack of respect for those that have died, those that are fighting, and those that are responding to the cause of our freedom. We are free. We are free to bellyache about the use of fireworks or not, etc. But that is because of these people, the gentlemen, male and female, that have put on the uniform and have died. And for that, we should all be celebrating our freedom and thanking them for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Al Pillow, 152 West 15th Street. Yes, next Wednesday is Independence Day, so the flags will be on the bridge. The flags will also be on the bridge for the garage sale. They will also be on the bridge for our days. Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
All right. Andy Taylor, Sheriff, 1414 East Fourth Circle, the Center, Washington. The La Center Lions will be having their fireworks booth this year. We can't use Public Works parking lot because it's kind of crowded right now. But we are going to be setting up in the casino's parking lot directly across from the bakery. And we're going to have some discount coupons for the casino here in town, so come visit us. This could very well be our last booth. The reservation out on the freeway is going to start selling fireworks next year. So, come see us, because this is the money we make for the whole year.
Thank you. Okay, seeing nobody else stepping up to the podium, go ahead and move on. We do have a ordinance this evening for consideration and a public hearing. It's ordinance number 2018-08, and it's to amend the fireworks La Center Municipal Code 8.25. And I've asked Mr. Kearns to present that to the council. We had a council discuss this at the last city council meeting. This is really been a county-wide effort this year for all the different jurisdictions to revisit their fireworks code. I know all the cities, except for Vancouver and Camas, have revised their fireworks ordinance. So the City of La Center has also looked at our code. We had a discussion at the city council meeting and have making a couple adjustments to it. And maybe if, Dan, you could just go through that for the council.
Sure, I'd be happy.
Open up for a public hearing.
Thank you. Fireworks is a good name for this sort of staff report. You can't really tweak the fireworks ordinance without getting some strong responses. And I have not been, I think Doug Boff has been more tracking these other jurisdictions. Last time we met, all the jurisdictions were kind of tracking in unison with the schedule of sale dates and discharge dates. As I understand it, the coalition is sort of fractured at this point, and the recommended revisions that are before you, I think, are somewhat different than we had previously discussed, providing for 7 days of sale and 2 days of discharge. At this point, and maybe if Doug wants to chime in, I don't know there's a huge incentive or motive to be aligned with any other jurisdiction in particular. So this is totally a discretionary call for you. As you know, if you adopt a regulation that's more restrictive than state law, and this is, it has a 1-year delay effect. So you adopt tonight, it'll take effect next year. So I would be happy to entertain any questions. I don't know if I have good answers for those questions, but this is kind of a purely policy matter for you and how you address your constituents.
Thank you. So any comments or discussions from the council before we open up for the public hearing?
One thing I would notice, with 7 days of sale, the objective was to encompass a weekend somehow, in some fashion, every year.
Okay. Well, with that, I'll open up for the public hearing at 6:50. If anybody would like to address the council, please step up to the podium and give us your name and address. And if you could limit your comments again to 3 minutes.
Al Villa, 152 West 15th Street. Wow. You know, I don't buy fireworks myself, but I don't agree with limiting anybody's act. If it was up to me, you know, we'd sell them all year long and fire them all year long, you know. But since that's, you know, that's not going to happen. But if we're going to sell them for 7 days, you know, and only fire them off too, that doesn't make much sense in my book. You know, at least fire them off, 3 or 4 days. You know, that way they can expend them and give the Lions some more business. You know, but well, that's all I got to say.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, seeing that nobody else is stepping up to the podium, I will go ahead and close the public comment period, open it back up to the council for any more discussion or comments.
Did I see today that Ridgefield restricted theirs to 1 day? There was in the reflector
Right. Yeah, for discharge.
for discharge.
Yep. Yeah, and Battleground, I think, is for 2 days, and the county's for 1 day, and, Yeah, it's kind of still a little bit fractured that way.
But it doesn't seem to be expanding.
Right, it's definitely not,
It's definitely contracting.
yeah.
Who, maybe I address this to the chief, who's going to enforce this? Is it the fire department, or is it going to be the police department? How are we going to,
Well, fire marshal has the ability to enforce fire code, and then, of course, the center, well, all law enforcement agencies will, this will be a part of our city code.
This is a civil code provision, so civil enforcement. In drafting our civil enforcement chapter, the police were not violently opposed to it, so they are willing and prepared to, when necessary, enforce the civil provisions of the code. They're not super comfortable with that, but it can be done on a uniform traffic citation according to the code. So that's how it is. When this happens, also big surprise, this happens outside business hours when violations occur. So it's not like, anyone in the city except the police or emergency service providers are going to be around to enforce it.
thank you.
Maybe the more poignant question would be, who's enforced it in all the years you've been here?
Oh, yeah. I see a lot of enforcement.
It just happened.
Let's see. Let me check on that.
I believe it was discharged for 7 days prior to.
Let me just check.
So that-
Richfield is just the 4th?
No, this is for the 3rd and 4th. So
Which is
two-
Richfield?
Just the 4th of July.
Just the 4th?
Yeah.
So you can't even light fireworks the night before at midnight?
No. Well, you can't do it at midnight either. It's,
Yes, not.
9 to 10 on the 3rd of July.
Good luck catching those kids.
So,
Do we need to specify the hours in this ordinance? I mean, we
It is.
had it. Did I miss it? I'm sorry.
Until 10 o'clock on the 3rd and not until 9 a.m. on the 4th.
And in the
Where am I
graphic.
seeing this?
till
at?
midnight on the 4th, 9 till
Well, yeah,
all day.
from midnight on the 3rd until 9 a.m. on the 4th, you are not allowed to light fireworks. Firework discharge times, July
Oh, I see
3rd,
it,
9
okay.
a.m. till 10 p.m., July 4th, 9 a.m. till midnight. So nothing can happen from midnight to 9 a.m. at a minimum, and the day before on the 3rd, nothing until 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. It's not even dark until
Well, that's
But I guess the
Right.
idea is to move towards the 4th.
right.
And right now, the current code allows discharge between 10 in the morning, 10 at night from June 29th to July 3rd. And on July 4th, between 10 and 11. So it's a pretty big range. This is the trend line is consistent with the other jurisdictions. And by the way, this is the first I've heard that the tribe is going to have on-site sales. I mean, whenever I get together with them, I, half-kiddingly ask them when, because this was a big deal for years when we were trying to define what the issues were. Fireworks sales in competition with the Lions Club was kind of a big deal. So this is the first time they've ever said they're going to do it.
Okay, well, if no further discussion, could I get a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve ordinance 2018-08, amending the sale and discharge of fireworks and authorizing the fire marshal to limit the discharge of fireworks during unfavorable fire conditions.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance 2018-08, amending the sale and discharge of fireworks and authorizing the fire marshal to limit the discharge of fireworks during unfavorable fire conditions. It's an ordinance, so could I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Locke,
Yes.
Councilmember Stoll,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Valenzuela,
Yes.
Councilmember Schiffman.
Yes.
The ordinance passes. Thank you. Okay. Now, again, this will not go into effect until 2019. Right. Okay. Very good. Thank you. So next on the agenda, we do have one resolution this evening to consider, Resolution 18-434, and it's for the RCO grant application authorization. And this evening, the city's associate planner will be presenting to the council, Naomi Hanson.
Good evening, Mayor, councilors, and citizens. The Washington State Conservation and Recreation Office manages a magnitude of grant opportunities. Every 2 years, communities across the state are given an opportunity to apply for recreational grants. Under the guidance of the Parks Advisory Board and RCO staff, the city has started the process of applying for 2 grants. In 2017, the City of La Center conducted multiple public hearings, work sessions, open houses, and solicited surveys. During that process, the community expressed a strong desire for parks and trails. Based on the feedback, the level of the service was established of 1 mile of trails for every 1,000 residents. Currently, that leaves us with an approximate deficit of 1 mile of trails. The first grant we applied for was with the Youth Athletic Fields category to improve irrigation and underground drainage within Holly Park. The existing ball fields within Holly Park are utilized by many community organizations and leagues of all ages. The 2 primary youth organizations in La Center are the Little League and the American Youth Soccer Organization, AYSO. Once the project is complete, it will extend the use of the fields during the inclement weather conditions. The 3 trail connections are intended to connect the entire community. They've been identified as a critical component of a loop system, connecting residents to local schools, nature, and various public facilities. Everyone stands to benefit from the trail system, whether it's for recreation, conservation, education, or the sense of community-wide entity. This is an aerial photo caught by drone footage from a contractor we had in town at the time. What you see before you is the Southview Heights subdivision to your left, the Breezy Creek corridor in the center, and to the right is the high school facility. The city has engaged in conversations with 2 willing property owners. If the grant is successful, the city will enter into negotiations with them for acquisition. The properties are located along the east side of Breezy Creek and the south side of the La Center Elementary and Middle Schools. The properties are located within the critical area corridors and are not likely to be development driven. In 2016, the city designed a trail extending the existing Breezy Creek Trail south, connecting into Sturmwheeler Park. Design, engineering, wetland delineations, and SEPA review are complete, making this a shovel-ready project. The city is looking to get the community engaged and seek cost efficiencies. Volunteer labor and donations will be utilized where possible for specific tasks such as construction of covered picnic tables, benches, educational signage, removal of invasive species, and mitigation with native plants. The city has applied for additional funding as match cost from WashDOT and will continue to identify and apply for future grants to leverage money collected through park impact fee revenue and real estate excise tax. I appreciate the opportunity to move on to the next stage in the grant process. These projects will help preserve recreational opportunities for generations to come.
Very good.
Any questions?
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Naomi's done a great deal of work on this entire project. She's gone to Olympia, done the presentations to the RCO committee. Yeah, it's just phenomenal that she's been able to spearhead this for the city. We've had, I think, 3 meetings now with the Parks Advisory Board, and we're engaged, and the Parks Advisory Board completely supports this action. And so, yeah, it's a great effort, and appreciate it. Appreciate the work by the Parks Advisory Board as well. And again, we're just asking for council's approval to continue on with the process. So,
Any discussion?
if there's no discussion, again, we're just looking again for a motion to continue.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Here.
Yep, go ahead, Doug.
I'd like to thank Naomi for her hard work on this project. She's done a great job.
Okay, thanks for that.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to...
Also, Councilor Oswald, ditto on that. She's done a great job. She's getting out the way she went.
Okay, very good.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 18-434, supporting the RCO grant application for drainage and irrigation improvements to the athletic fields in Holly Park and the acquisition or development of 3 trail segments.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 18-434, supporting the RCO grant applications for drainage and irrigation improvements to athletic fields in Holly Park and the acquisition or development of 3 trail segments. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. And again, thank you, Neil. Great job. Okay, so next on the agenda is the city council will be going into executive session per RCW 42.30.110, and it's regarding public employee performance. We will come out of executive session, and there will be an action taken this evening. So with that, I would ask everybody to please vacate the council chamber so we can go into executive session. Oh.
15 minutes?
I would say the time would be, 15 to 20 minutes. Let's say 20 minutes.
20 minutes with action to be taken afterwards.
Yep. Of executive session, back into the open session. And so we do have an action item here this evening, and it's for the separation agreement for Suzanne Levitz.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorizing the proceeding of execution of the separation agreement with Suzanne Levis, signing and execution. Sorry, it's poorly worded.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the separation agreement for Suzanne Levitz and authorize the mayor to execute it. All in favor, say aye. Oh, I'm sorry, let's take a roll call vote on that because we have 2 council members are away.
Councilmember Bach?
Yes.
Councilmember Schindler?
Yes.
Councilmember Williams?
Yes.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yeah.
Councilmember Servant?
Yes.
Okay. The resolution carries. Thank you, council. That's the last item we have on the agenda for this evening, so if I could get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, sir.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Joe. Enjoy the conference.
Okay, that is done.
I'll pick it up the next conference. Because I
I've never done that.
Do we need to turn these back in? I don't need it. You don't need it? No, I mean, I don't know if that's something you want floating around.